Hello, my name is Miguel Rivera. I'm here with you in the media for a short info presentation named Media and the People and its effects on thoughts and actions. Starting off, why does media matter? And because it matters because media affects the actions and thoughts of not just individuals like me and you, but society as a whole. Media is a part of our everyday lives and influences us without us realizing it. Very common questions we have are, does it help us grow? And does it do positive or negative things to us? And those two questions are pretty easy to answer. First question, it does. It does help us grow. It helps us grow in a mental and a physical standpoint. And in a general sense, every standpoint. It helps us grow in everything. And does it do positive or negative things to us? It does both. It depends on you on how it will be positive or negative. How will you make media influence you positive or negatively? Main points I want to cover here are censorship, fake news, social media, and fictional media, which in the blanket of fictional media here, I will be covering TV, video games, movies, and YouTube. Censorship. How much is it? How much is it in our society? How much does it affect us? So if you see here, this is the ESRP on the right, and this is the movie ratings on the left. What do both of these have in common? This is both a part of censorship that we've dealt with at some point in our life. Censorship. So censorship here in the US is not as big as it would be in other countries like Poland, Ukraine, and North Korea. But in those countries, it does lower the freedom of the people. And especially in Poland and Ukraine, censorship in those two countries is more like a prevention by official government action of the circulation of messages. If censorship gets bad enough, the information being given to the people will not be fully true or just not given in full. And this will leave the society completely uneducated to the current society they're living in and everywhere else in the world. And if this information is not given truthfully or fully, this will cause the spread of false info and news, which completely segues to our next point, fake news. How much of it is it out there and what has it done to us? So, what is false rumors and news have you heard about? I mean, I'm pretty sure you can name a couple, and I mean, you could probably just name like stuff that you heard back in high school about like your classmates, because there's always like rumors and like all this, like, oh, did you hear that she's dating him now or something? Stuff like that. That's very much a more tame sense of what covered in media, but it's definitely a good example. Of course, here we have tabloid news on the right, and the 2016 election winner, Donald J. Trump, and yeah, so fake news. Notable examples, as I said before, were the 2016 election and tabloid news. Without you realizing it, fake news is very apparent, and you may not even like know that it's around you. Fake news has been able to change the fence sitters' opinions when it comes to voting. Fence sitting, full of fence sitters, are the people that haven't really picked a side, and those people are constantly being persuaded during the election to pick a side, of course. And with the false news that was presented during the 2016 election, these fence sitters were more inclined to vote for Trump compared to Hillary Clinton due to what they saw. And in addition, fake news has been able to cause people to really be confused on what's real or false, what's real or not real. And it's pretty puzzling because if you're not able to discern what's real or not, you feel like you're being controlled. The idea of control here, and the reason why news fake news is being spread mostly is social media. Social media has been causing a lot of spread of info for the time it's been up, and that perfectly segues to this graph actually. This graph shows what online news websites have been reporting fake news. And if you notice, 52% of these online websites have been presenting fake news. This was back in 2018. This is pretty insane. 52%. That is more than half of all online news sites reporting fake news. I'm pretty sure this number has skyrocketed to now, 2021. But it's crazy to think about that this was the statistics back in 2018. Mentioned before, social media has been helped with a lot of things, and as mentioned before, it helped with the spread of fake news. So social media has been able to affect business, health, the spread of info, and the reputation of people. The reputation of people have been easily been broken with false claims and false rumors and all this like crazy drama and stuff that can happen due to the connectivity that we have in social media. Social media is able to connect all of us together into one central hub. And with this connectivity, we're shown into lives of other people. And this sort of affects our mental and physical health as well. As even though it's not their life that you're living, even though you're being shown just something, a part of their life, you're being shown something that you might be inclined to want. Let's say you see a picture of a model, a really like good looking model, they're like really like buff or just they're really good looking, and now after seeing that you may be inclined to now want to reach that point, and it really just messes up with your mental and physical, mostly your physical, because some of this is Photoshop, like some of this is practically impossible to get, and in turn, we may be harming ourselves trying to reach that point. In addition, in our mental, we're shown that with these like things that are being shown, maybe the perfect body, maybe really good house, really good car, really good like family life, you feel really inadequate with yourself. You want to strive for that, and you don't feel accepting with the things that you have currently, and it really just lowers your self-esteem as a whole. Moving on, we have fictional media, and this is a big one because what does fiction have to do with us? Starting with movies. Movies and TV are very similar, which I'll cover shortly. Movies are able to teach a variety of different skills and topics, and for example, in dramatic films, it's been able to teach teenagers about social interaction with the opposite sex and adults, which this is really good because in our teenage years, we're really awkward. We were hitting puberty, and we're all about like, oh, I gotta be liked. I want to be cool. I want to be viewed as the most popular person. But with the films, it really helps us in a social aspect, as it sort of helps us let go in a bit. Let go of our insecurities and sort of just go for it. And as a whole, movies been able to help us grow as people and become better in the society we're in. Video games. Now, video games are extremely controversial due to it being a very more active form of fictional media compared to TV and YouTube videos and movies, because we're all watching, but in video games, you are doing the actions. And this, as a whole, really made it controversial, as this was, especially in the 80s and 90s, when they had before they even established the ESRB, there was the publicized television, not television, but the publicized, not published, televised, there it was, the televised court case about video games and its violence. And even with this whole like negative that video games have been shown to have, especially back in 2009, where 17-year-old Daniel Petrick was sentenced to 23 years in prison due to him shooting his parents after they take away his copy of Halo 3. But that is merely just a negative. And with every negative, there's a positive, of course. And the positives, besides, like, it's been able to, like, help people connect, similar to social media, it's been able to, like, help us grow and, like, help us grow from a social standpoint, like movies. It's been able to help rehabilitation as it gives more goals during the process of rehabilitation while you're playing video games, of course. And this sort of goal-driven thing helps these people heal. TV shows. Mentioned before, TV shows and movies are extremely similar. They help with behavior, physical health, and learning, which is similar to movies. And something really interesting is that kids are more highly affected by TV. And this is very much shown. We have educational programs for kids. We have stuff like Sesame Street, we got Blue's Clues, we got Teletubbies, we got all sorts of things nowadays. And it really helps people, it really helps kids and other people as well, like besides just kids with other television programs, to really grow. For kids, of course, they're taught proper grammar, English, like how to speak properly, how to be like to be nice, proper manners, to have like a creative imagination and to cope with loss and all that. But of course, there's still negatives, similar to other things. There's still negatives, as it's shown from more than 1,000 studies that exposure to heavy doses of television violence increases aggressive behavior. YouTube. YouTube's really interesting because it's only been around for about almost 2 decades at this point, and YouTube has slowly been growing in popularity. It's now the most accessible and quote-unquote fictional media that we can access. Of course, there's things on YouTube that are mostly not fictional, and this will help us, it's mostly non-fictional. But YouTube as a whole has been helping people get discovered, and since anyone can become a star now due to YouTube, it really helps just how things are. And people have been using this platform as a way to teach people valuable lessons in life, which is nice. In conclusion, what does this all mean? So in conclusion, media has positive and negative effects on our society. Even if it's fictional or not, it still affects us and helps us grow into better people, or worse people. You gotta be aware of what's going on in media, and we have to find out how media can be beneficial to you, because only you can decide how media is going to affect you, because you're the one experiencing it. I'm here with you in the media, and I'll be signing out.